Alright, welcome back everybody to the fourth part of Katawa Shoujo. I am still upset about kind of insulting Misha and Shizune, and now we are probably not going to hang out anymore. You know, I was just adjusting to Misha and she was even kind of nice, and now that's not cool. So let's go on. One flight to damn it. Great start. We're off to a great start. The second floor hallway is a carbon copy of the third floor one. White, of course, and plain, like only hallways can be. The problem is that the library's whereabouts are not as easily determined as one would think. The classrooms are marked with signs stating which class they belong to. But then there's a plethora of other unmarked rooms. This seems a little bit strange. Why would they mark some and some not? Is the library one of them, or is it just somewhere down the hallway? I bet on the latter and choose my direction at random. After I turn around the corner, an unmarked door draws my attention because it's not closed. It's not open either though, just barely ajar so that I can see it's open and nothing else. And nothing else. Ah, okay. It would make sense for the library door to be invitingly open, and while this one is not quite that, it's good enough. Yeah, just let go in. Maybe, I don't know, that's something secret, or something you shouldn't go in, but yeah, let us barge in because the door is slightly open. That's always a good idea. At the very least, it means that someone is inside and I can ask for directions, no matter how embarrassing that is. Probably very. I gingerly push on the center of the door with my fingertips, every muscle in my arm ready to pull back at a moment's notice. The feeling of being an outsider to this school can't be shaken off from my mind, so much so that I instinctively fear doing something wrong by entering. Cool, that sound. The door slowly creaks as if groaning from a deep sleep, though is much easier to open than I'd anticipated. Leaning over and poking my head ever further inside to gain sight of the room as fast as possible, the meek "hello" on my lips is quickly snatched away. Oh my. By a beautiful-looking woman. So we just lost Misha and Shizune, and now we get to know the next woman, who seems to be a classic woman, at least judging by the music and her looks. This is not as I was expecting. I mindlessly let the door open to its full extent, taking in the sight of the solitary figure taking center stage in the otherwise abandoned room. Man, sometimes this guy, he talks like Shakespeare. Yeah, no, not really like Shakespeare, but man, sometimes the way he thinks isn't appropriate for a boy his age. Or maybe I'm just too dumb. But I mean, it's cool. It's really cool. It's fitting for the situation, but it's sometimes hard to read for me. The situation steals my voice, leaving me standing at the doorway staring at the beautiful girl. Evidently having taken her time to assess the situation, the girl gently puts down her teacup and opens her eyes, but doesn't look at me. "Hello there, may I help you?" Staring directly in front of herself, the movements of her lips seem to break the silence rather than the words. However, it's the soft, measured voice that reminds me she's a being separate from the room itself. She's a goddess. Not only is she likely the tallest girl I've ever laid eyes on, well, you can see that by her sitting, she must really be tall, but even among the foreigners I've met, she's strikingly distinct. Alright, she has blonde hair and she has blue eyes, and she's a foreigner. But a girl with pink hair is normal. She's Japanese, okay. Hi. Sorry for intruding, I was just kind of lost. She takes a moment to formulate a response before speaking. Every action she takes feels as if it's carefully choreographed beforehand. Care to take a seat? Unexpected, considering that I'm intruding upon her. Thanks? I slowly step towards another seat opposite her, the girl resting the teacup and saucer on the wooden table in between. The way she doesn't track my movements with her head is telling that, and the slightly cloudiness to her eyes means she must be at least partially blind, like Kenji. Come to think of it, her voice doesn't have any detectable accent either. I guess she must be half Japanese. As I take my seat, her composure takes me slightly off guard. Her air of relaxed confidence makes the silence entirely comfortable. Sorry. Just a moment, please. Excuse me. The calming atmosphere is so very different from the student council office. Yeah, I still like the student council office. I take it you're a new student to Yamaku? Ah, yeah. I just transferred yesterday. I get the distinct feeling my speech patterns don't match the formality of hers, accentuated by her restrained bow of greeting. One which I hasten to match before realizing the futility of the action. I'm Lilly Sato. Pleased to meet you. Hisao Nakai. She gives a nod before gesturing roughly in the direction of her teacup. Would you care for a drink? Sure. As much as it pains me, I can't keep step with her formality in the proceedings. She gives a kind nod, taking the request in stride. Yes, come on, she's not that formal. She's not like very weird Japanese formal. I think that's kind of normal. I think she's just polite, which is cool, I like polite people. Without another word, she steps off the chair and prepares a second cup of tea from a collection of supplies laid out along a shelf. A brush here, a brush there, her left hand often lightly touching the side of whichever container she's pouring into. It seems to be a process she's followed dozens of times before. As I lean sideways to see around her back, she seems to use her long, dainty fingers to measure the right amount of water in the cup. Long, dainty fingers. Oh my. It's one thing to see the different disabilities the students in my class have, but it's quite another to see how everyone seems to adapt. Shizuna and Misha have no problem working together to communicate to me, and Lilly herself seems to have workarounds for problems I'd never thought of. While I feel slightly guilty about her doing the work, she seems pleased to be following the correct process of the offerer preparing the drink. So, a soft voice brings me out of my silent observance. Well, she seems really I think they drew her taller than the others. Cool. Which room were you looking for? It's not often this classroom is visited after school. The school library. Shizuna and me, some classmates told me it was on this floor. She finishes pouring water into the teacup as she nods, a small metallic tapping coming from the teacup indicating it being stirred. I am aware of Miss Hakamichi, as are most students. To be with them means you're in class 3-3, no? Yeah, she knows them. That's right, in the science room with Muto. She gives a small giggle before setting down the teaspoon and slowly walking towards the table, teacup and saucer in hand. He's quite a character. I imagine you'll come to like him. Most do. Yeah, he's cool. As she sets down the tea, I gently take it and have a sip. I'm really more of a coffee person. I'm not, so drink the goddamn tea. Maybe it's she looks British. Well, at least I don't know why I think she's British, probably because she's drinking tea, but if it's Earl Grey, she has a good taste, my friend. Well, anyway, I'm really more of a coffee person, but this seems like a rather bad moment to bring it up, yeah. Just shut up, man. Nonetheless, the smell's quite nice. I hardly think it'd be hard to choke down. Thanks, Sato. It tastes really nice. She smiles and quickly waves her hand in front of her face. Lilly, please. There's no need to be too formal. She says this in spite of her exceedingly well-bred speech. Oh well. Yeah. I guess I should try and ask her about herself, as it really does seem as if she's catering to me. So which class are you from? I imagine it's one of the... It's one of the third year classes. Correct. I'm in class 3-2, which is on the third floor, same as yours. It's taught by Miyagi. By Mr. or Mrs. Miyagi or Miss Miyagi. Why are you people so rude? And is specifically for both blind and partially blind students, so why isn't Shizune in there? I see. Sorry. Why are you apologizing? I feel like slapping myself for the faux pas, looking at her face, though she doesn't seem in the least bit put off by it. I don't even know what she did. My, there's no need to change your speech on my account. Sure, sorry, I guess I'm really showing my newness here. An environment like this would be a big change, so I can't fault you for it. While the same can't be said for everyone, many have come to terms with their conditions. A category which would include her, it seems. All too ready to jump ship from this particular topic, I seek into another. Do you come here to drink tea often? It's a really nice place. Thinking on it, this might be her version of the place behind my school that I like to have lunch at. I come here fairly often during lunch times. My duties as class representative don't leave enough time for an official club, so a friend and I use this room for having tea. Oh, so you have a friend here. Class representative, huh? Compared to Shizune, her mannerisms seem to be almost completely opposite. While Shizune is blunt and fiercely driven, Lilly seems relaxed and calm, almost aloof. Yeah, to be honest, Shizune was a little bit too competitive for me. In the end, it's funny. In the beginning, I liked Shizune more than Misha, and afterwards, I liked Misha more than Shizune. Come to think of it, she might be useful for a less biased view of the school's clubs. What kind of clubs are there to join? The more popular ones are the track and field club, which uses the field near the school during lunchtime, the baseball club, and the book club in a room near the library. There are also numerous small ones too, though, such as the art and music clubs. At a time when I'm just wanting to get on my feet, rushing into a club right away seems slightly unappealing. I wonder if the school shares the same rules as my old one. Is it compulsory to join a club? It isn't, though it is encouraged. Ah, good, that's a relief. No, it's encouraged means do that or you will never get a job. I've really let down my guard around this girl to let such a thing slip out. The fact seems to slightly amuse her. Not wanting my tea to get cold, I finally start drinking. Oh, she smiles now. Cute. I finally start drinking it, as Lilly does the same. Oh my, it's afternoon now. As I look over the window over her shoulder, I notice the light coming into the room has a distinctly orange tint. Even here, time doesn't stand still. Huh, the time's gone quickly. Sorry. Right, she's blind. Of course she can't see the sun setting. Just looks like the sun. Yeah, man, this music is loud. Alright, that's better. It just looks like the sun's starting to set. It seems to come as a surprise for her. I guess she must have lost track of time. Sorry, Hisao. I didn't mean to keep you from the library for so long. I quickly moved to allay her concern. Ah, no, it's okay. The library is still open, isn't it? She pauses and takes a moment to think on it. It's probably something I should have asked Shizuno when I had the chance, but Lilly seems likely to know in any case. True, it's open until 6:30 during weekdays. A quick glance at my watch confirms I have well enough time to get there. I might get going in that case. It's been nice talking with you, Lilly. She smiles and gives a deep nod, her hands still neatly folded on the table in front of her. It was my pleasure. Oh, come to think of it, shall I show you to where the library is? I couldn't possibly ask for more help. I should be able to find it all right. Ah, come on, take her along. Well, unless my navigational skills fail me, which they seem to have a habit of doing. It's alright. I was going to be talking to the librarian there in any case. I could introduce you. This gets better and better. It's pretty hard to deny her offer. If you're sure, then that would be great. Thanks. Alright, she's cool. I like her from the beginning. As she stands up to follow me, she takes hold of a straight, retractable cane that had been slipped in the handle of a bag on the floor. Compared to the cane the boy in my class had, Lilly's looks much thinner and longer. His must be for support, whereas Lilly's is for navigation. Together we leave the peaceful room and enter the empty hallway on the way to the library. Side by side, my pace carefully slowed to matures, we slowly walk through the hallway. It doesn't take long for us to arrive at the door to the warm-looking room apparently situated in the center of the floor rather than either wing. But whoever wrote this doesn't make stops so long sentences. Ladies first. She gives an appreciative smile at the gesture, taking the lead as we file in. To the left is the wooden library counter, with the library proper being on the right. It easily dwarfs my old school library. I didn't know that dwarfing is a verb. I know a dwarf, but it dwarfs my old school's library. With a distinct smell of old books giving the place an almost old war air. Oh, wow. There don't seem to be a lot of students here. Considering the time, it isn't a big surprise. Everyone is probably either in the school grounds or the dorms. Yuko, are you here? She said it to thin air since the librarian doesn't seem to be present, and of course Lilly can see this. What's unexpected is that it draws a reaction. Something from under the counter thuds against it, followed by a quiet wall. Ow! The origin, apparently the librarian, quickly crawls out and bounces up to extremely rigid attention. So you are the stereotype librarian. Clumsy and you love books and I don't even need to get to know you. You already look like the stereotype. Hi Lilly, how can I help you? Her voice is strained in a failing attempt to sound casual, and she's rubbing the back of her head. Good afternoon. What happened just now? I heard a strange sound. It's nothing, I just hit my head. See, I dropped an eraser under my desk, and while I was looking for it, a pencil dropped, and when I was looking for both of them, you came and surprised me. Yeah, you are so cliché. You are so cliché. So much cliché, I can't even handle it. Alright. Anyway. Are you alright? I'm sorry, I couldn't know. It's okay. Sorry for making you worry. This is nothing. I've had worse happen to me. She's quick to reverse Lily's apologies, almost frenetically trying to push aside the possibility that she could be in any way inconvenienced by bashing her head on the counter. Yes, Worse things have happened. Yeah. The girl fidgets with her fingers as Lily's doesn't seem to drop her concerned expression, and then she shuffles some papers around the counter for no reason. A little shorter than Lily, replete with glasses, freckles and a very troubled look, she seems to fit a library perfectly. Ah, Lily, did you get my message? Message? Oh, the 2 imported books that arrived? Right, they finally came. I can't believe it took so long, but... Amidst her celebrations, partially for managing to change the topic, I'm sure, she noticed me from the corner of her eye and freezes on the spot when she does. Ah, so she's overly shy too? No, I'm not so much into stereotypes, no, that's too much. I like Lily. I think Lily is kind of real, but librarian is too much cliché. Well, maybe we will find out more. Maybe I'm too judgmental right at the beginning. Oh no! I'm sorry for not noticing you before. Did you need to check out a book or return one? I'm sorry. The way she can so quickly shift between moods is a little unsettling. He's with me, Yuko. This is Hisao, a new student. Hisao, this is Yuko, the school librarian. Pleased to meet you. Hisao, right? Hisao. Pleased to meet you too, Hisao. For a second, she visibly attempts to engrave the name on her mind, so she won't forget, so she's even an airhead. Ah, come on. Yuko often arranges to import foreign books in Braille for me. Would you like to tell Hisao a little something about the library? Lily's innocent suggestions is met with an expression of abject terror. Please, Lily, I can't. I don't know what he could be interested in. This is too much responsibility. Okay. How it's any responsibility at all I don't get, but her objection is so sincere I don't doubt for a second that she would rather disembowel herself on the spot than tell me where the light novels are. Oh man, you're reading light novels? I don't have anything against light novels, but, you know... On the one hand, I am playing right now a visual novel, but light novels, never really got into it. More of a manga person. Or a normal book person. One of the other. But... So there are lots of books in Braille. A lot of books in Braille here. It's really confusing that Hisao and the librarian are both in green. I attempt to save the day by asking the first thing that pops into my head. It seems to work, at least partially, as Yuko seems to not exactly relax, but at least look slightly less tense. Well, I think about a third or a fourth of Yamako's library as either in Braille or audio. By the way, if you don't know what Braille writing is, it's this kind. I think this is the points. You know, there are 3 rows or 4. I don't even remember. And by feeling the points, they can. You know, you better Google it. I can't really explain it, but it's writing for blind, which they can touch, so they know what is written down there. Makes sense, given all the blind students that be here. If it's only that, how come this library is so big in the first place? Well, we get a lot of new books regularly, because the library is adequately endowed. That's probably why. They spend more on new books than on my salary, and then I have to organize and shelf all of them. Ah, I thought you were a student here, so you are just paid to be here. Oh, alright. It's so troublesome, and they weigh so much. I wish I could quit this job. Okay. A very awkward silence follows this revelation of too much information. I'll go check the aisles then, if you don't mind, or the aisles, one or the other. It's probably best for all of us if she doesn't keep talking to me. Very well. Meanwhile, Yuko, I would have those books, if it's alright with you. My first impression was right. The library is surprisingly big. Ambling down the narrow aisles, I think I'll stick with aisles. I study the spines of the books in random order, occasionally sliding one out to read the blurb, taking it with me if it looks good. In a few moments I have a respectable stack of books in my arms. I guess I'll never be stuck for choice in here. The normality of the library sinks in. Sure, there are large print and braille books scattered throughout, but it is what it is. A library. It's as if the calm mood from the room I had tea with Lilly and snuck with us in here. Alright, let me read that again. It's as if the calm mood, from the room I had tea with Lilly and snuck with us in here, unless it was here to begin with. Something about that puts me at ease, just like before. I reach the end of the aisle and find a collection of desks, set up for study or personal reading. Going a little further, though, I discover a nice, quiet corner at the back. While the rest of the library has the odd students sitting at the desk either reading or stealthy sleeping, the back is pretty much deserted. As I glance around, I see someone who I recognize sitting on one of several beanbags. Alright, it's you. It's the dark-haired girl from my class. Now I get to know everyone, okay. The one who snuck out of the classroom earlier. She's reading a book, keeping it close to her face, which makes her look like she's really into it. From the way she's acting today, I had her pegged as more of a delinquent than a bookworm. In fact, her mysterious disappearance from the class raises all sorts of whys in my head. You're so judgmental, my friend. Intrigue floats slowly but surely towards the surface, and before I know it, I'm walking towards the mysterious long-haired girl. I guess there's no harm in introducing myself, as I would with anyone else. She's a classmate, after all. Walking over to another beanbag, I take a seat and lay my books beside it. The girl starts looking scaredly up at me from underneath her fringe. This is the first time I've seen her this close. Underneath her long, dense bangs, I can see the part of her face, at least a third, if not a half, is pretty badly scarred. My eyes are immediately drawn to the scars, subconsciously pinking past her hair until they meet her own eyes. For a second I am shocked, and divert my eyes to the book in her hands, before I realize that looking away probably only makes it worse. Yeah, probably. In situations like that, you just don't know what to do. Probably nothing is right and nothing is wrong. Just be yourself. It takes me too many seconds to collect myself and remember what I walked up to her for. I am new here, Hisao Nakai, we're in the same class. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. So if we... Answer 1 could be, I want to talk to her. Answer 1 might be too straightforward. Answer 2 might be too... You know, maybe we won't talk if I say that. Oh no, oh no. Alright, let me think about it. This is more a tough decision. 1 is too straightforward, but I think it's more normal. But is it the right for her? I want to talk to her. Alright, we try 1. Hi, I'm new here. Hisao Nakai. We're in the same class. Okay, it was wrong. It was wrong, I knew it. I just transferred here the other day. Maybe you don't remember. Oh, she can. Maybe she can talk. I did a self-introduction too. The girl still doesn't say a word, but simply stares at me, wide-eyed. I'm still getting used to the place, so I'm trying to meet as many people as I can. So, what's your name? Yeah, she can. Ah, no, she can talk. Hanako. Her speech is stuttering and so quiet that it's barely audible even in this little library. Somehow I think that my delinquent impression of her was wrong. Hanako, eh? So what are you reading? She gently tips the book backwards so that I can read the title, at the same time heading her face behind it. Hiding, probably. She must have noticed me staring before. Yeah, sorry. Life of P. I've never heard of it before. What's it about? A boy. And a tiger. On a boat. Alright. I can see this taking some time. Sounds interesting. Is it any good? She nods from behind the book, but stays silent. She looks kinda tense, a bit like Yuko earlier, but in a different way. More like petrified with terror, I'd say. I like them both. Oh my, she's shaking. So the mystery delinquent girl turned out to be anything but, and she is quivering in a way that makes it look like she is mortally afraid of me. The only way out of this, as far as I can tell, is try to get a normal conversation going. Is it a library book? I'm looking for new ones to read, but there's just so many. No, it's mine. So you go with your own books into the library? Well, I love libraries. They have quite the atmosphere usually, but you know. Oh, so do you come here often? A huge blush spreads on Hanako's face, and her eyes widen far larger than I thought it was possible for eyes to do. Uh-oh. Did she interpret my lame attempt at small talk as a feeble attempt to pick her up? I mean, I didn't mean it like that. I... I've got something to do. Without warning, Hanako takes off and runs towards the counter. Her hair-like take-off catches me so off guard that I don't manage to go after her until she has a good head start. So run after her. By the time I reach the counter, she is nowhere to be seen. Lilly and Yuko are happily chatting away. Knowing that I won't be able to catch Hanako myself, I approach the girls. Hey, did you notice a girl run past here? Maybe. What did she look like? Is this any help to you? Long dark hair, kinda shy. She had, well, some scars on her face. You wouldn't be talking about Hanako, would you? Yeah, that's her. I saw her reading and tried to talk to her, but I think I scared her off or something. Oh dear. Yuko, would you excuse me? I had better try and find her. Oh, so they are the friends who... So she drinks tea with Hanako. Sure. I just hold on to these until you come back. What's going on? I'm sorry, but I'll have to explain it to you some other time. Right, I'll see you later then. Show Hanako has some kind of trauma. Lilly hastily grabs her cane and hurries out of the library, leaving me alone with Yuko. I don't think I'll ever get the hang of this place. Did I do something wrong? Yeah, probably. What did you do? Nothing! I just talked to her. Tried to get to know her. Didn't even manage to get started. Yuko sighs and looks awfully bothered. Even more so than she did before. I guess you weren't wrong so much as tactless. Yeah, tactless. That girl is a bit of special case. It's like she never really talks to anyone. Isn't that a bit strange? I wonder. It's just how she is, I think. Yuko doesn't sound all that convincing. Then again, maybe this is just the norm around here. Everyone has their own problems, or else they wouldn't be here. Perhaps I was a little tactless after all. But how should I deal with these people? Forcing myself to act overly casually only makes me feel phony. You are a douchebag. Wow. Forcing myself to act overly casually only makes me feel phony. I can't be polite. I always have to talk like people the way I want. You are an idiot, really. Man, you're such a douchebag. Such a douchebag. Like, I was supposed to be ignoring the elephant in the room. Yeah, shut up. Yuko fidgets, looking like she wants to say something to that, but resists it. Yeah, tell him, Yuko, tell him. I think it's an elephant only if you feel that way. Guess she doesn't have a good sense of self-restraint. It makes me smile and she blushes heavily. What? Did that sound stupid? No, it sounded really wise. Yeah, well, at least you realize that. I guess you're right. It's more about me than anyone else. Yeah. Neither of us has anything to add, so Yuko fills the silence by shuffling some papers around. People who have papers on their desks really like doing that. Like the doctor. Did you find any books? I should be closing soon. I mean, this library should be closing. But I have to do it. I hope that's not too inconvenient for you. Oh yeah, I want some books, but I left them over there because... I'll just go get them. Yeah. You talk already too much. I fetched my stack of books from behind the beanbags where Hanako and I were sitting and returned to the counter. Wow, you read a lot, don't you? I surprised myself with that too, honestly. At least when I really think about it. I had a lot of free time earlier this year, so I just kind of started reading books to fill that time. I couldn't do much else. I see. But she doesn't say anything else, and she just checks out my books for me. I guess that is what they call tact. Yeah. You gotta learn. Alright, already 36 minutes in. Man, when I play this game, time flies by. Alright, I really like it. It's getting more interesting. We get to know more people. And, man, I hope we can be... You know, it's... In the end, we probably become a couple with someone. I at least think. And, but I hope we can still be friends with the others. If I can't be friends with Misha now and Shizuna, I'd be really pissed. I'm still sorry, but I'm still angry about this. But I'm cool with Lilly, and I'm sure we will become friends with Hanako over time. Yuko, well, it's a little bit too much stereotype for me, but anyway. So, thank you so much for watching. Come back for the next part, and see you then. Bye bye.